Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're tackling something, well, pretty fundamental to skiing, but maybe overlooked. Ski wax.
Yeah, and what's really interesting based on the stuff we've looked at is this idea that wax doesn't work the same for everyone.
Exactly. It seems like it interacts differently with men and women skiers. So our mission today is to kind of dig into why. Why isn't one wax perfect for all, and how does it change the skiing experience based on physiology?
Okay, let's jump in. It starts with some, basic physics, really.
Physics on the slopes.
Okay, well, think about it. Men, on average, tend to be heavier, more muscle mass, so they naturally exert more pressure down onto their skis.
Right, more downward force.
And that force does a lot of work. It helps push through friction with the snow, displace water that might be there.
So even if the wax isn't perfectly matched, that sheer force can kind of compensate.
To a degree, yes, but flip that around. For women who typically apply less direct downward pressure, the actual quality and the type of wax become much more important. It's doing more of the heavy lifting for, displacing water and getting good glide.
Okay, so the wax itself has to be more efficient for women, potentially.
Yeah.
Our sources mentioned waxes like Hertel All Temperature.
Yeah, that came up. The idea is that some waxes are designed to activate to work better under lower friction conditions. They don't need quite as much force to get them performing across different temperatures.
Which sounds ideal if you're applying less pressure naturally.
Exactly. And think about how this plays out over a whole day of skiing. That difference in glide efficiency, it can really impact fatigue levels.
Oh, yeah, I can see that, if you're not gliding well.
Your legs are working harder, especially in softer, maybe stickier snow conditions.
Right.
And this can lead to something we hear about, especially for female skiers later in the day. Knee torque, that twisting force on the knee joint.
Knee torque. Yeah, that doesn't sound good. Sounds like an injury risk, too.
It can be a concern. So if the right wax reduces that friction, makes gliding easier.
It directly helps lessen that leg fatigue and maybe reduces that strain on the knees.
Precisely. It's not just about, bombing downhill faster.
Which kind of brings up another point, right? Different priorities, maybe.
Wait, that's a really interesting angle. Men might sometimes lean towards prioritizing sheer speed. Maybe they'll pick a really hard wax for specific cold temps to fly.
Okay.
But that can sometimes mean sacrificing a bit of control, especially if the snow conditions change, which, let's face it, they often do.
Yeah, conditions are rarely perfect all day, so women might value control more.
That seems to be the tendency discussed, feeling stable, especially on mixed snow, icy patches, that sort of thing. So multi-condition waxes often end up being more beneficial.
And the sources mentioned something called Hertel's float feel. What's that about? Is it just speed?
It seems to be more than just speed. It's described as this feeling of, effortless gliding. Enhanced stability, helping maintain balance and edge control, not just going straight fast.
So feeling more connected and secure on the skis across different types of snow.
Yeah, that's the idea. Now let's connect this to something that seems totally separate. Boot pain.
Boot pain. How does wax connect to my boots hurting?
Well, it's a surprising link our sources point out. Think about stiff skis combined with wax that isn't gliding well.
Okay.
If you're not gliding, what do? You instinctively try to force the ski to turn, right? You push harder through your boots, especially around the ankles, the shins.
I see. You're trying to compensate for the lack of glide with muscle and leverage.
Exactly. And that extra torque, that pressure inside the boot, it can lead directly to blisters, sore calves, general foot pain, stuff you'd normally blame squarely on the boot fit.
Wow. So you might be fiddling with boot liners and buckles when actually the root cause, or a big part of it, is that your skis just aren't sliding properly.
It could absolutely be a contributing factor. The lack of glide forces your boot and lower leg to do work they shouldn't have to.
So making sure your skis glide easier, maybe with something like that Hertel All Temp Wax, could potentially ease those boot problems without even changing the boots themselves.
It's definitely possible. It reduces the need for your boot to compensate so much.
That's actually a fascinating connection. Okay, so let's quickly recap. While guys might get, speed and endurance benefits from the right wax,
Sure, absolutely.
the advantages for women seem, well, almost more fundamental. Tackling issues stemming from lower force application, helping with fatigue, better control.
Yes, it seems the benefits align really closely with addressing those specific physiological interactions with the snow. The right wax works with how you ski.
So maybe a final thought for you listening. Next time you're getting ready to ski, especially if you're a woman who battles with boot pain sometimes, maybe just maybe, take a second look at your ski wax. Could it be part of that puzzle? Perhaps exploring different waxes based on how you ski and your own body mechanics? That might be the key to unlocking a better, more comfortable day out there.
Definitely something worth considering.
Thanks for digging into this with us today.